What's going on there, coaches? Back here with another episode of One Play the JV Way. This week's installment, I'm going to be talking how we kind of go through our base 4-3 defense. I've seen a lot of people talk about how, younger teams with the 4-3 defense can be pretty expensive to install, pretty complicated to install, and I don't necessarily think that's true. I'm not saying that the 4-3 is the simplest defense to do by any means, and I'm not saying I do it correctly, but all I know is that our program, up here at South Jeff and out northern New York has been running the 4-3 now for a few years, and my defensive coordinator on JV, Coach Whitmore, he's been doing a bang-up job of really simplifying what the varsity does and turning it into our JV defense. So I'm just going to walk you through how we install it at our JV level. If you like it, obviously take some ideas with it. If not, let me know what you think we can improve. But for our 4-3, we do a very simple base 4-3 defense. We don't go too crazy with anything. We have a typical base front with a 3-tech and a 0-tech. Our defensive ends play outside shade. We have our 3 linebacker shell and our 4 deep cover defensive back. And what we do is we just tell our defensive linemen, you guys are 1-gap players and B-gap sound. We tell our linebackers that you guys need to play aggressive and step up and play the run first. And then our defensive backs just can't get beat. It's simple as that. And I'm going to go through specifically their alignments and assignments, but we do this because we feel like this defense gives us the best opportunity to play against any offense we might see. It's adaptable. We can change it to what we need. So we really, truly believe in running this defensive system at our level. Now, what we're looking for in specific players when we run the 4-3, we start off with our defensive tackles, and we want guys that are going to be explosive and powerful off the snap. They don't have to be huge. We're not looking for your Vince Wilfork type nose guards where they need to be dominant in 2 gaps. These are 1-gap players that need to control their gap at the line of scrimmage. So I just need guys that can plug a hole and be gap sound. I don't need guys who want to try to prove their strength and go head-on-head with the lineman across from them and essentially just take himself out of the play by getting blocked. Okay, I need guys that can fight through a double, fire off low, be stout, be sound. Again, I'm not saying they need to be big. We've been very successful with some smaller defensive tackles. But if you're going to really focus on size, personally, we say take your biggest guy and put him at the 0-tech to be able to control the line, to control the center, and have your quickest guy take the 3-tech so he can really knife in. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that, and do some damage. Your defensive ends need to be quick and athletic pass rushers, but they need to be able to squeeze down on an edge. They need to set that edge and force the running back to kind of either spill out around them or come inside. And by spill out around, I mean really have to bounce back and go deep outside so that our force player in our corner can, really take advantage of that. Our linebackers need to be very versatile athletes. They need to be very versatile athletes who can play the run first, but also step back into pass coverage. We want them to be really hard-hitting bastards is what we want. Okay, we want them to fly up, smash people in the face. A lot of times, actually, we will take offensive linemen who not necessarily might be smaller on the defensive line. Sorry, I cannot stop yawning, and I apologize for that. But we might take our more athletic offensive linemen, our really good pulling guards, and put them at linebacker because that gives them the opportunity to fly up and really smash somebody. and it gives us our size and our run stopping ability. Our corners, we want very excellent speed guys, able to keep up with defenders, but we also want really good open field tacklers. And you're going to think I'm crazy with this, but our best corners over the past, I've been doing this for 13 years, and the best kids that I've found that play cornerback are actually wrestlers. They're really good in the open field. They're great at finding hips and legs to take out runners in the perimeter. If you're really having a hard time finding good open field tacklers, go to your wrestling room, recruit those kids, bring them out to your team. Okay, I swear to you, you will thank me. Especially if you run a cover two where you have your corner sitting in the flats, where he's really that true perimeter player. Our strong safety needs to be very physical, but versatile. He needs to be able to come up and play as a linebacker, but also play deep as a cover safety. And we want to make sure that he is capable of reading to know when he has to make that change. The strong safety in our defense is typically the force player, so we want somebody who can come up and fly up and smash people at the line of scrimmage. Okay, and our free safety, we find those skill players that are also the smartest skill players we have, because we need them to be able to read the backfield and not get confused by what's going on. Okay, so we find our backup quarterbacks, our honor roll kids, we'll stick them back at free safety and we'll say, you need to be the quarterback right now. You need to show us and tell our defense exactly what's happening. You're going to have the best view, but you also need to be the backstop. Nobody gets deeper than you. Nobody gets by you. That's what we're looking for in a free safety, is somebody who's smart enough to know how to read the play, but also aware enough to know, oh crap, I need to get back because there's a guy streaking by me. Okay? And I can't let people streak by me. Now, when we're looking at our base alignment and our responsibilities, the way we start it is we tell our we start with our techniques. We start with our numbering. 0 is anywhere on the center. 1, inside shade of the guard. 2 is head up on the guard. 3 is outside shade of the guard. Same thing with 4, 5, 6. And 7, 8, 9. That's the way our varsity numbers it. That's the way we continue to number it. I know there's going to be a lot of coaches who don't agree with us in that sense, but you do you, boo. So our three tech tackle, he takes the outside shade of the strong side guard and he covers the A gap. That's his sole responsibility. We don't want 2 gap players. We want 1 gap lineman to be able to just control that gap and focus on that gap. It takes their reading responsibilities really less on them, because they just have to be able to read what the lineman in front of them is doing, not have to read and then react to a certain gap. Our 0 tech player plays backside shade of the center. He's responsible for the weak side A gap. Again, single gap, make sure he's gap sound. He's going to be facing a lot of down blocks by the center all game. So he's going to have to make sure that he's really plugging that A gap. Our ends are outside shade of the end man on the line of scrimmage. Back in the day, we used to tell them, you guys have contain. But what we were finding was that when we tell our ends to contain, they're just getting wider than the running back and opening up a really nice running lane for them. So instead of saying contain, we have been telling them they need to squeeze the C and the D gap. Hit that outside shoulder of the end man on line of scrimmage and really squeeze the action down. It helps them to be able to read the play better, while at the same time, if they need to wrong arm a player or read a guard coming their way, they can react to that if they're squeezing rather than just turning into the hole. So they squeeze, force the action down, lock their arms out, squeeze the action, okay, and really be able to read the backfield that way. They have counter cutback reverse responsibility, so tell them CCR, and they should know what they're doing. Linebackers all line up at 4-yard depths. Our Mike linebacker, our middle linebacker, he's responsible for the strong side A gap. If that window opens up, he is filling. If not, he's flowing over the top one of his two linebackers, depending on where they're flowing. Our Sam linebacker is 4 yards off the C gap, and he is responsible for plugging that gap or, again, flowing over the top if he needs to. Same thing for Will. He's lined up 4 yards off the weak side B gap. He will fill that window if it's opened. If not, he will flow to where he is needed. Our linebackers, we want them 2 steps forward every single play, reading the guards and seeing what they're doing. If they see a forward step, they're filling. If they see a backward step, they're dropping back into pass coverage. Our cornerbacks, we like them at 5 yards, but if they're slower than the guy across from them, we'll tell them to back off to 8, no deeper than 8. They're inside shade of the wide receiver to take away the slant. Their role in run game is they are the ultimate contained player. Nothing gets outside of them. They have to squeeze down on the running backs, force the action back inside to our force player, who's going to be one of the safeties. Now, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be that strong safety. He's lining up 6 to 9 yards off the line of scrimmage between the strong side corner and the defensive end. Depending on where the wide receivers are lining or depending on the receiver's speed, if this receiver's a faster kid and we know that they like to shoot the deep ball on him, we may have the Sam line up a little deeper and more towards him. If not, we'll have him creep up and be on the line, so he really can be a force player, because that's his job. He's going to be our alley fill, our force, the missile that just flies up and smashes people. We were very fortunate last year. We had a great strong safety who flew around the field and just smashed people in the face, because that was his job and that's what he liked to do. So that's going to be a big need this year, but we've got some kids that should be capable of doing it. Now, our free safety, he's 9 to 12 yards off the line of scrimmage. He's outside shade of the weak side defensive end. His job is he is the backstop. Nothing gets past him. Nothing gets by him. He will be alley fill if the play dictates, okay? I'd always prefer my strong side safety as the alley fill, but obviously, we can't dictate all the time what the offense is going to do, so the free safety has to be capable of flying up and filling the alley when he needs to. We do stunt, okay? I like my linebackers to be so aggressive that we don't need to stunt, but we do stunt. We have some basic stunts that we start off the season with. Your typical 4-3 stunt: shoot, mug, and whip. Shoot is our Sam blitzing the strong side C gap. Mug, our Mike blitzes the strong side A gap. And whip, our Will blitzes the weak side B gap. Now, when they do their blitz, it is a straight on, full ahead blitz. We don't necessarily show them all the time. We have specific signaling for when we want them to show blitz or when we want them to hide it. But they will, at pre-snap, they'll start at 4 yards and they will just fly like a bat out of hell through that gap. We don't want them going over top of another player. We want them going through the specific gap that we've told them to blitz. We have some line stunts as well. Most of the time, if we are stunting the line, it is a slant. Whether it's to the strong side or to the weak side, we have specific calls for that. When we tell our linemen to slant, we have them slant to the gap over from where they currently are, depending on if we call strong or weak. And that is not a loop action. That is a true slant. We want them slanting across the face of that adjacent lineman to really take the offensive lineman with them and force them to try to block us. It opens up gaps on the backside, allows our linebackers, if we want to stunt them, to have a cleaner seam through. But it saves our linebackers from having to take free release linemen up, which isn't always the most fun for linebackers. We will twist it too. We will send our 0 tech on a slant across, crashing into the opposite A gap, and our 3 tech will loop behind him into the hole. That is a true loop motion. We'll do this on passing downs to try to screw with the offensive line's pass blocking if we can, see a weakness, a chink in the armor. Now, we will combo stunt too. We will send all 3 linebackers at once. We call that dynamite. We'll do that on, some kind of later down situations sometimes, or shorter down situations. We will also, you have your other 4-3 stunts in there that we'll add in later in the season. Saw, or slam, wham, that those fun ones. Our combo blitzes in the back. We also have fire. That's a nice combo with the ends, where our outside linebackers will blitz to the outside, and our defensive ends will slant into the play side gap and fill that gap. Use that one a little bit less depending on the situation, because we obviously don't want to get our our squeezing ends. We don't want to give them up, but if we see an opportunity, we'll take it. Now, coverage wise, personally, I like cover 2 at the JV level. If you're only ever going to run one coverage, to me, you got to run the 4th or the cover 2, mostly because it aids your run fits so much better than any other coverage you can run. Your corners are already in the flats, ready to go to contain. Your Sam and your Will are in the hook, ready to fill up their gaps if they need to on a draw. Your Sam, or your strong safety, and your free safety are back deep, and they're ready to alley fill when we need them to. The reason I like the cover 2 so much at the JV level is because you are not getting a lot of quarterbacks who can sling the rock. If they can, they're probably up on varsity already. So you're not going to get any real air raid 500-yard passers at the JV level, just because that's not what JV kids can typically do. So the cover 2 really helps with, to me, have us be a run first defense and have us be able to fly up and smash people. Now, obviously, cover 2 does have its weaknesses, especially when teams go trips. So when a team goes trips against us, we will roll our strong safety down into a old school sky coverage. We call it Tiger, where the strong safety will roll down. He will play the flats. Our 2 remaining corners and our free safety will take deep thirds and play cover 3. Our backside linebacker, our Will linebacker, will play the flats on the opposite side, and then our linebackers, Mike and Sam, they will take our hook to hole zones. This is the easiest way we've been able to find. A lot of the times, if JV teams run trips against us, they're either running it or screening it to the trip side, which allows our strong safety right here to get some nice force tackles up here, or they're one-on-oneing our corner back here, just trying to take this kid deep. Okay, so we find that this helps us kind of cover all our angles. Now, when we get closer to the red zone, we will start transitioning in some man coverage, and we personally like the cover 1 more than the cover 0 in that situation, because it gives us our backstop. The free safety's there to save anything that gets by anybody, but it's your typical cover 1. Your corners have the number 1 receiver. Strong safety and Will have the number 2 receiver. Sam and Mike have back out of backfield depending on his location. Now, when you play man coverage and you teach man coverage to a JV player, if you could take my advice, make sure that they are eyeballing the receiver the entire route. Okay? And I'm not telling you to face guard the kid. I'm telling you to eye the receiver the entire route. Do not take your eyes off of him until he flashes his hands for reception. If he flashes his hands, because most JV receivers aren't trained up well enough to know, oh, here we go. I'm gonna fake flash my hands and be ready to go. No. When he flashes his hands, that means the ball's coming my way. I need to be ready to catch it. So you, as a defensive back, need to watch his hands. And when he flashes them, that's when you punch your hand in between them and pop your head back to look for an incoming ball. It helps stop ball watching the more you rep it. It helps stop lost corners. Okay, you tell them, don't worry about watching the quarterback. That's not your job. We have guys for that. Your job is to watch this number 1 or number 2 receiver. Make it easy for yourself. But that's my 4-3. I'm sorry, our 4-3 in a nutshell. That's how we teach it. If you have any questions, please feel free to DM me at any of these. Oftentimes I'm Coach Easton at Coach Easton 268 on X and Insta. If you check me out on Facebook, you can go right to the JV Playbook or the JV Community, a Facebook group where I'm hoping that JV coaches start sharing information, sharing plays, questions, problems, anything where we can all help each other out. Go check out my blog, the JV Playbook, on coachingchair.com. Go check out, and just in general, go check out Coaching Chair. Great products, great coaches, a lot of stuff that can help you with this upcoming season, or if you're already in the thick of the season, it can help you out there too. If you are already starting your season, I hope it's going well. If you're like me and you're waiting for the season to start, good luck in your upcoming season here, guys. If I can be of any help in any way, don't hesitate to DM me. I'm always available. I love talking ball, so just reach out. In the meantime, though, good luck with your seasons, and don't forget to teach it, rep it, build it, because that's the JV way.